We wanted to talk a little bit about, you proposed to us, that we talk a little bit about inclusivity in the D&D scene, because we do feel it. Most of our friends are queer.
Yeah, so we talked about gatekeeping a little bit before, but of course we notice it rather frequently.
Yeah. No, we get some mean comments sometimes, and I delete them quite quickly because I don't want our fans to sort of like be in the space where they also read that, because mostly they're queer gamers themselves, and you know, we sort of want to pretend that the world is perfect already instead of having to get there. But
well, there's also a part where you don't gatekeeping in communities often makes something political, whereas before it necessarily wasn't.
Oh my God. This is true.
So we also really want to delete a lot of these gatekeeping comments, because then suddenly we don't want our audience to suddenly feel like they're making.
That is so true. I mean, like in a sense, like D&Drag wasn't political until you called us a faggot. I mean, like, right? I mean, like, we were just playing D&D, and we are of ourselves drag queens, and we're sort of mixing these two because we think that the expression itself is nice. Wasn't
and
a
also
political
very similar. Yeah.
No, it wasn't in a sense a political statement. We love doing it. I mean, like,
as it should be.
Yeah.
Just having fun with friends, and if it be in drag or cosplay or LARPing in the woods, shouldn't really matter.
That is true. But do you feel that sometimes with, because of course your crowd and your friends are already fine, but do you, have you ever experienced this sort of negative side of gamer culture?
Yeah, but not directly to me, because
no.
In that case I'm a white guy with a beard. People expected of me that I have some nerdy hobbies, especially with the metal background, long hair before the beard. It's something that was befitting. But I am the one that usually stands up when it happens, because I do think that's a very important part of the people that are on, how to put it?
Online presence.
Yeah, if you have any presence at all, or even if you hear it somewhere, it's like, why shouldn't girls play D&D?
Yeah.
My girlfriend also plays D&D. I'm very happy with that. We can play D&D together. Stop telling her she can't play.
Oh my God.
She creates the worst puzzles, but for the rest,
Child, all the horror stories, all these D&D horror stories on subreddits, etc.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
women get like stalked by their DMs.
Oh my God.
But also, if there comes something into play that's something so inherently off-putting for any gender or any background.
And this is what Wizards of the Coast have been focusing on lately, because I think they're making huge progress, and I think they're creating a big movement where they're thinking about inclusivity, and it's not, because this is what people often think, that like, yeah, they want to be inclusive because they want to ride the political movement to expand their brand so more people will play the game.
Whereas this is absolutely not true. If you look at Magic the Gathering, of course, which is also under the title of Wizards of the Coast, of course, they've had this huge thing over the last, I think, 7 years or so, where they've just cut a lot of these really offensive art, or at least have a lot more representative or normal art, where it's just not just tits in your face with an old lady of 80, right? So there's this 80-year-old wizard, and then she just had her tits in your face. That would be old art of Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah, in that sense. And it's also not it's really not about expanding the group, it's also about respect towards the people, some of the people that have been in your group already for 20 years. I mean, it's not a new phenomenon, queer people playing D&D or being nerdy or doing nerdy hobbies. I mean, like, I think it's a trend that's getting more visible now, but it's always been there. And
we said this in the other interview as well, but often when I ask a queer person if they play D&D, I've had at least 4 times that people have said to me, like, I'm gay, of course I play D&D. Like, that's the standard answer then, almost.
Yeah.
Because queer people are just so very represented in D&D culture, but we rarely see that.
See that part coming out when in play, for example, or anything else.
Yeah.
But I am happy. I am extremely happy with the times that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like, of course, I mean, like, for every hater, there are 100 lovers.
Well, it's just good to have these big institutions back you in a sense as well, which is why I'm really happy with Mommy Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
And
And this is then where I draw the line, because I sort of I could understand where you sort of say like, okay, queer people, or you think, let's say you think they're outsiders with a political agenda, because this is what people dub as the queer army, right? Sort of like these are first of all people from outside that have a political agenda that has nothing to do with D&D, that are invading the space of D&D to make their political progress. None of these are true. First of all, these have been people from the inside. These are arguments that are given with very big knowledge on D&D also. And now Wizards of the Coast, which is the upper authority on what is D&D, says, okay, we need to evolve and we need to make progress. And even if you then disregard Wizards of the Coast's opinion on whether progress is needed in gamer culture, like what are you even doing then? Who are you still having arguments about?
Yeah, that's kind of what I always rile up against. So I come from an academic background of political philosophy and ethics, where theoretically it becomes very clear that representation matters so much, and then to have like everyone on the rile against Wizards of the Coast for altering magic art, for example, to make it more representative, arguing that it ruins the game or whatever. It's just absolutely insane.
Okay, do you know how to do this?
Nee.
How to drop it?
I fail my dexterity checks.
Je moet gewoon eens even aan het recorden.
Zit er een trucje aan voor goed?
Okay, so you know how it's going to fall? If you I think you're holding it the wrong way.
Oh, okay. How should I hold it then?
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky when you first try it.
Yeah, okay, so there's a way that the fan naturally wants to fall. So for this fan, it's this way.
Oh, okay.
Right, so you just sort of hold it only at the top. Are we still recording?
Yeah,
I don't
there
know.
you go.
Okay, so we just had a little technical difficulty where we're teaching Rick how to pop a fan. So when the fan falls, it can go like this, and then you sort of hold it just on the top bit, and then you can just slap it.
There you go.
There you go.
Get in there. You did it.
There you go. Sure. Yes. There's your first queer skill. Bye.
Bye.
Let's just.
I'm gonna finish my tea first.
Hey babes! Before you continue watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our D&D Patreon, where you can help us develop this crazy show further.